So I first met Suzanne at a New Kind festival / conference in Tasmania in 2016, 2017. I'm not too sure. I felt really good about engaging in support from her because of this, what felt like a very grounded, in terms of, Suzanne had a lot of experience with marketing, with writing, with management. And I felt, I trusted that support, but also felt that she was able to offer something that you wouldn't get in institutions. And I feel that often for people like myself, where we are quite big picture thinkers, I find that I often resonate with support from people who get it a bit more, who aren't just sort of like run of the mill corporate, gone along the conveyor belt and kind of want to just give you advice that they've maybe received, but someone who can actually genuinely tune into what it is that you want and like how that connects to your kind of deeper values, your deeper motives, and be able to truly tailor advice. So I felt like there was this real holistic, attuned, grounded, but also incredibly, concise and quite straightforward advice. And I felt like it was a blend of like coaching and mentorship, which I was really seeking at that stage in my life. And so I began working with Suzanne when I returned to the UK. So we set up regular remote meetings, and we started really from the ground up, go back to looking at all of my skills, everything that I'd done work-wise, and start to look at them in a different light. And it was really the first time that I'd ever done that. And I suppose this was actually my first step in building a portfolio. But it was more than that. It was actually really starting to recognize the value in these things that I'd done. I'd always felt that I've always had so many different jobs. I've always moved through lots of different spaces. And I hadn't really ever taken time to take stock and reflection on what that actually meant in terms of value and what I could actually offer in spaces. So this was the first time I did that, and it was quite a monumental thing actually, because I can honestly reflect back at that time and feel like that was my first quite big step in kind of cinching everything together and starting to be more directive with it. I feel like the skills that I picked up and the tools that I picked up from Suzanne, I'm able to actually continually go back to. I'm able to kind of pay that forward to other people who I see maybe being in that same position. Just this real act of like putting everything down on paper and really starting to look at not only the what, but like the how, and then the why, and then the value of those things, and how they can be offered moving forward. But I'd never had someone who could kind of take all of those aspects and then help me put it into something that was a lot more meaningful, and put it into an actual offer. I definitely feel like I transformed during that time. I feel like I'm still transforming now. I feel like there's a lot of things that I can continue to borrow from that experience. I would 100% recommend working with Suzanne as a coach. She is fantastic. I feel like she has got a really unusual balance of being very succinct, very clear, very concise. She's got a lot of drive. She's got a hell of a lot of professional experience, but also is able to actually tap into deeper layers of what you're saying, of what you're looking for. I found that even at this stage of my life, where I've kind of been through a startup journey, I found it very difficult to find coaches like Suzanne. And it's often that essence that I'm looking for. It's not just someone that's going to give you that generic advice and call it coaching and say, well, and not really listen to what it is that you actually need, or like actually listen to what your problems are and offer solutions. And I feel like that's what Suzanne can actually do. She can actually really intuitively understand where you're coming from, And I think that's a rarity, and I think that adds a hell of a lot of value to a coaching experience. So yes, that would be anyone who kind of resonates with that. I would recommend to work with Suzanne for sure. Anyone that's feeling like they need some inspiration, some grounding, some concise tools for directing, for reflecting, for evaluating on their life and how they want it to look like, and having that real kind of like holistic aspect to it. Definitely work with Suzanne, 100%. I would highly encourage anyone who is looking to build a lifestyle career, who wants to make a change, who feels maybe a little bit spiritually unfulfilled but has an idea or a feeling on like where they want to go, and you know, trying to reach that fulfillment or that freedom through a lifestyle change, a career change. I would highly recommend working with Suzanne, who will help to transform, help to translate your own thoughts and ideas that you might not have even translated to yourself properly yet. It can be absolutely fundamental to have not only a sounding board, but somebody who can actually really tune in to where you're coming from and actually reflect that back to you in a meaningful way that you can then take away and actually put meaningful actions towards that as well. So yeah, I would definitely recommend Suzanne. I would always give her a 10 out of 10 for her very, very unique transformational coaching services.